Hey everybody, it's Glam back in this video with the recently released Magneto from the Toys R Us exclusive Marvel Legends X-Men Infinite Series Jubilee Build-A-Figure collection. Yet this ain't no ordinary action figure review, it's an action figure comparison with the Toy Biz version of Magneto. So here they are going toe to toe and nose to nose. It's Magneto versus Magneto, Toy Biz versus Hasbro. Same character, different toy companies. Which is best? Well, I'm going to examine the various aspects of each action figure. Then at the end of the video, you guys can declare a winner in the comments below. Side by side, yet a decade separates the release of these two, with Hasbro's on the right being recently released, whereas the Toy Biz Magneto was released as part of a Marvel Legends X-Men box set in 2004, and is a variant of the version released the year before, only the third ever series of Marvel Legends. What they have in common is that neither utilize entirely new parts. The Hasbro Magneto uses a figure most recently in my memory used for the comic Drax the Destroyer in the Arnim Zola series, whereas the Toy Biz one uses the Iron Man figure released in the first series of Marvel Legends. Now, to communicate his menace and inflated sense of self-righteousness, Magneto is often drawn in the comics as broad with a big inflated chest, yet being the size of a man wearing a metal suit of armor might be a bit of a stretch. So both represent classic Magneto, essentially the costume he debuted in back in the 60s. Over the years, different costumes for him have been experimented with, yet they always seem to return to this look. It has quietly evolved over the decades though, so now taking a closer look at the helmets, and we can see they are in fact different in design. Having done some research and compared artwork from different eras, it seems that Hasbro's helmet is more Kirby-esque and Silver Age in design, with the prominent detail on the front here painted purple. The helmet of the Toy Biz one seems more Jim Lee-esque from the 90s, as over time that helmet detail became smaller and coloured red like the majority of the helmet. And with the Toy Biz version, this helmet is removable. The face sculpt of the Hasbro Magneto has been heavily criticised. I've watched the reviews, as I'm sure many of you have, yet perhaps those prepared me for the worst, which has left me pleasantly surprised. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not great, but the reviews had me set to go instantly blind as soon as I laid my eyes upon it. I didn't, and in my opinion, the Toy Biz sculpt is not up there with the best of that company, yet this is the screaming variant from the box set, and the regular, more neutral expression that came with the regular release is better than this one. Now, looking at articulation, and the heads of each rotate side to side. The Hasbro one looks down this much, and then up this much. The Toy Biz one does not have a neck hinge, yet there is some up and down motion both at the top and base of the neck. The capes of each are very different. I prefer the Hasbro one in that it better captures that classic comic art with the way the cape billows over the shoulder, seemingly defying gravity. Yet this does have a cost in some of the articulation, as at the shoulder you can't utilize the full range of the articulation. Toy Biz's Magneto's cape is a bit more practical, with it swept back over the shoulder, allowing for a full range of motion at the shoulder, so it rotates and moves up this much and back down. Both have upper arm rotation, double jointed elbows, rotation at the forearm, and that's it for the Hasbro version, whereas the Toy Biz one is hinged at the wrist, moving up and down, plus has hinged fingers. For a character who in using his powers is so gestural with his hands, it's a shame that Hasbro's version doesn't have more articulation at the wrist and hands, yet that said, his hands do have a dynamic sculpt to them, which works well with what posing you can do. The Hasbro figure has an ab crunch which moves this far forwards, and then, well, not really so much back because of the cape. The Toy Biz figure has an odd diaphragm type joint which doesn't move forwards or backwards. It slightly rotates, yet that's redundant as we have rotation at the waist, as does the Hasbro version. At the hips, the legs move out to the sides this much, back in to the front this much, not so much to the back, especially with the capes in the way. upper leg rotation, double jointed knees, rotation at the top of the boot, then at the ankles they both have hinges moving back and forwards, both have an ankle pivot, and the Toy Biz one also has toe articulation. Returning to the ankle pivot, and this is each figure posed at the furthest point of pivot, still with both feet flat on the floor. The Hasbro figure would pivot even more, however the cape hitting the ground prevents a deeper pose. So all things considered, which action figure do you think is homo superior? Let me know in the comments below. Me personally, I'm joining Hasbro Magneto's Mutant Revolution. The Toy Biz one, using an Iron Man figure, was a wrong step to begin with, and in the 10 years that have passed since it was released, the style of articulation it has just makes it dated looking among the more modern Marvel Legends. But to its credit, for the year it was released, it stands head and shoulders above figures from 10 years before it in 1994, and in that way I can't say Hasbro's Magneto stands head and shoulders above its 10-year-old counterpart. It's more just a slight nudge above, and given the passing of 10 years, I'd frankly expect more from it. Yet that said, and this might be controversial, but I'm calling Hasbro's Magneto the best Magneto action figure ever made. It gains that title though not so much by merit and more by default, in that Magneto just seems to be a character cursed by not particularly good action figures. Don't believe me? Then check out my Magneto action figure evolution. By clicking this video, it features a heap of them and you can go and judge for yourself. Alternatively, check out my previous action figure comparison featuring Agent Venom. As ever, I sure would appreciate it if you could give my video a big thumbs up right now, comment, rate, share and subscribe. Check out the description beneath this video for links to my Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Click those links and connect with me there too. Hope to see you in my next video. Bye.